Hi everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Real Estate Realities. And I am your host, Shalom Wak. Don't forget, this is your go-to podcast in Nigeria, Lagos, and worldwide to know anything as regarding real estate in Lagos State, Nigeria. So this is a podcast where we delve into the world of real estate expert, real estate enthusiast, real estate novice. Are you a first-time home buyer? Are you a 100th time home buyer? Are you just trying to buy a house for the first time? Do you want to know more about this? Or are you trying to find out, just know what is real estate in Nigeria? This is your podcast, and I am your host, Shalom Mak. And today in the studio on this episode, we have
Olamide Shudayinde
and
J. Daniels.
Welcome to today's episode of Real Estate Realities. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. All right. So today we're going to be talking about challenges and real estate issues in Nigeria, Lagos especially. And then we're going to also be comparing millennials and real estate. It's like, do you think this market is just for millennials, or does Gen Z have a place in it? So we're going to be talking about that and also the challenges faced in real estate Nigeria. Right. So we'll be starting with you, Mr. Olamide.
Yeah. So, like you said initially, I'm going to try not to mention names.
Okay.
And I'm a 3D artist. I have a background in architecture.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing 3D for like 5 years now. And the reason why I'm not practicing as an architect is because of two things, right? And while I was studying, I saw architecture as a course where, I was watching the likes of Burj Khalifa, Burj Al Arab, how they were building it. Sorry, Burj Al Arab. Burj Khalifa came much later. So Burj Al Arab, the yacht-looking building in Dubai. And then I saw how they were building it. I saw how the experience was. I saw, people were inventing things just for that same building. And when I did my CUS or IT, it was a whole different ballgame entirely, right? I went to this site in Ibadan under this scorching sun. The building was not inspiring. The design was not the best. I was like, okay, this might not be for me. I'll just maybe sit back and see what I can be doing behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Just maybe design and render. So then I ventured into product design. Then I co-founded the company Rogue Studios with colleagues of mine that I met in school. We all studied architecture, and then we started something from there. So challenges, I wouldn't know where to start.
Let's start from somewhere.
So I feel like there is a misconception that most developers have, that real estate or building development is a cash cow. That is, they want to just do it and then see their profit in the next 2 years, 3 years.
True. I actually had that idea. I think it's like a win-win for me.
Yeah, so I wouldn't put this past them. I mean, the whole essence of real estate is to get profit, right?
Yeah.
It's not a non-profit venture. But for your building to even stand the test of time, you need to actually put in the work. You need to actually do what is necessary. Do your due diligence. Put the right people to work. Architects, surveyors, structural design. Most developers, they feel like, okay, so maybe I've developed maybe 5 properties. I know what a building should look like. I know what they become the designers themselves.
True.
They start imposing what they want. They start, okay, so detached, semi-detached is what is raining. Let's do let's do this one. And they don't even give the architects time to even sit down and even recommend something to them. Right?
There's never time to be an architect here.
So I won't mention names, most of the estates I see, I can say for certain that an architect was not involved in the project. Most of the general estates, at least those in Kota and the likes, is either because we're poached when we're in school. So when we're in maybe first, second, third year, just some random person just come with a nice car and just come to us. I have a proposal, help me do this, do that. It's quick money. We call it PP then. Personal projects.
Okay.
So realize that from the young age, from early stages of, you don't even know a lot about anything, but you just feel like, this is a quick cash making whatever for me. I'll just do it. And you end up collecting ridiculous money for it. And it worked for them because at that stage, you already know the little or the basic things that design should entail.
Yeah.
So you're able to draw approval drawing. You probably have an architect, someone that is going to approve for you, and just all of the back and forth and just register. And then when it's time for construction, the same developers they don't even want to pay architects supervisory money. Like they don't want to pay architects for supervision.
Yeah.
They still go to one Baba Kafaya that is a bricklayer, and then that one is just okay. So this is the drawing. This is the. And most of them can't even interpret drawing.
True.
So we were in Lagos Architecture Forum. I think maybe the second one we did, my studio, and we met Babajide Sanwo-Olu. And then he saw what we do because we're a 3D company, we make renders, so exterior buildings. So on paper, on the software, it looks fine.
Yeah.
It looks wow. And then his first comment was like, you're one of those people that design something and then when they build it, it will look like, are you sure that when you do this, it would? I mean, like, oh yeah, we don't do construction, but this is just our own part of the job. And he raised a valid argument because in other developed countries, say Australia, I don't want to say USA or New York because New York is now very saturated and they don't build any. It's mostly just tall buildings, skyscrapers and all. So maybe interiors can go. But Australia, if you're talking of homes, like just,
personal homes.
Yeah, go there.
Yeah.
They do the best. They have the nicest designs and all. So it was like, when you build it, it's going to look like this. And we have a problem here because we don't even have the skill to build. It's still Baba Fusa, Baba Kafala we are using.
Guy.
And in doing that, we realized that we're just still going through the same cycle of things and then we are not making any progress in terms of design. Nothing new is added. Maybe when one person invents or imports a new tile and everybody starts using that. There's this thing I saw on Instagram the other day. Tell me you're living on the island, tell me you're living on the island. There's this tile. There's this famous black and white tile that people just use. So you realize nobody's trying to come up with any new design. Nobody's coming. And design encompasses a lot of things. It's beyond the plans, beyond the layout. It's in the materials. It's in the choice of, it's in the way you position your building. It's in your building arrangements, where wind comes in, where all of those things, we don't do it. Even setbacks. We have setbacks for a reason. We don't do all of those. There's something they call approval drawing and as-built drawing. So what you put on paper, it will have the setback.
Okay.
I'm probably casting my colleagues here, but what you put on paper is to have the setbacks, to have because clients want to utilize all their building to the fullest.
Yeah.
They'll now say, this is just 1.5. And it's meant to be 3 meters on the side, 6 meters in front. You have your building line, you have something that's okay. So in the Lagos master plan, there is a building line where no building should go beyond this limit.
Oh, there is something like that.
So you can go beyond, you can go behind it, but you can't go in front. So you realize that most people, because of the way things are just lawless, and then in fact all the officials, when they come, just maybe bribe them and then they look away. All of those things, it is going to come out from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And then I even talk about the cost of building, because I feel like if things are done properly, and then they pay the people they are meant to pay well, have the right conversations, I feel like buildings can be done way cheaper in the country. What happens is this: they haggle the price so much that the architect or the supervisor or the designer, whoever is going to supervise the construction of the building, will just have to, let me just agree to this. But where he comes back to hunt them is in the material purchase.
Yeah.
Say, hey, don't worry, when I want to buy, I'll put this one. When I want to do this, I'll put this one. So you realize that when you're sending proposals or the markup is insane. You send a proposal of like a bill of quantity, you make a bill of quantity for like 100 million naira, and you realize that what you're actually spending is maybe 50 or 40. The rest is just... So if you get a project, construction gives a lot of money in the country, right? Because clients feel like they are too smart. So people just, so don't worry, feel like you're smart. Don't worry, pay me my 200k, pay me my 500k for supervision. I would come and corner in this place. But I feel like if they are honest conversations had, like, I want the best buildings. I don't want to try to stifle you out of your money.
Yeah.
How much is your charge? You'd do your normal negotiation, whatever breakdown, but be reasonable with it.
Yeah.
Like when someone tells you his quote is 2 million naira, and you are proposing maybe 300. It is.
Sure.
And there are also like other things, what architect is meant to get, certain percentage are meant to get when they build something, maybe 5% or 7.5%. That is like the actual, like that is what is stated. That is what is in the guideline, right? But homeowners don't do that.
It doesn't happen.
Rather than go to a proper like seasoned architect,
Yeah.
those ones that have names, that have lawyers and everything that can fuck you up. Sorry, bad word. That can do all of those things.
Yeah.
They'll just go to this set student I mentioned. People that are not very, just PP is them and all of those things, where they can just bargain less.
Yeah, and collect and just get it done.
And to be fair, I won't say this is the reason why we've been having building collapse, poor buildings here and there. It's still down to trying to save costs, trying to just find the best way to just reduce the total cost of building, and then in turn we are left with what we have. The quality of the buildings we have. Nothing is
poor quality. There's no amazing
and
thing.
It's the same design. We are just
yes. I don't think I've seen a building in Lagos and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Oh, there are a few honorable mentions, to be honest.
Okay,
I
like
saw
one, mention one.
Elumelu's home.
Okay, I've not seen it. The one that he built.
Yeah, I don't know if he built it, but yeah, it's all. And then I saw the Folawiyo's. It turned out or something. Folawiyo is his house. Yeah,
Okay.
He has one 11-story building in Koyi. It's pen floor. Fantastic.
No,
It looks like an actual, what's the word? New York home.
Oh wow, in Lagos here.
With all the proper setting, lighting, everything, furniture, everything. But it is expensive, right? And for them, obviously, they would find the best person to do the job.
Definitely.
But can that same model be done on a larger scale for average people? I feel yes. But the sad thing is, you won't get your profit as quickly as you want it. And that's just the way it is. That's the sad truth.
And Nigerians want immediate profit.
Yeah, if you want to do something good, just, if you don't have passion for it, then just don't do it. In Denmark, there's this architect, BIG, back in jails. His first major gig was from a developer. And the guy was like, okay, you seem to know what you're doing. Just propose something for him. A very fantastic building that addresses most of the problems. It's a mass housing system that he designs. The shape is very odd, just something very interesting. Lighting, everything, everybody's getting light at the same time. Was able to design the balcony that is stepped. Those kind of things, those kind of creative things that people go to school to actually. That's what I thought architecture was going to be about. Even if you had that, who wants to back it? Who wants to finance it? Developers are always looking for fastest way to get money. And which is quite unfortunate. It's going to be a never-ending cycle where you feel like you are smart. The supervisor or the builder or the architect also feel like he's smart. It's going to try to outrun you, and then you realize that you are spending 200 million on something that was meant to be less expensive, but the money is going, but you don't know where it's going to. Yeah. So, economy, the current state of the government, the
economic issues.
Yeah, economic issues. Naira is like crypto now. It's like a meme coin. Very volatile. So I work with foreign clients.
Yeah.
I earn in dollar. And I have colleagues, like I said, that are doing architecture. So sometimes just come, okay, Alpha, loan me this one. Let me just sharply. And I mean, last year was still kind of stable. But from November till now, I think November, dollar was around 700 something.
Yeah. It just kept going.
At one point, it got to 1.8.
Yeah.
Now
then
it's
dropped down.
So imagine if I'd loaned somebody maybe $1,000, $2,000 back then. And then he said his profit is, he wants to give me 10%. So if I give you $1,000, you give me $100 on top. Yeah. Which is good money. I mean, it's money I didn't work for. But when the old exchange rate and everything has...
You won't even expect your 10%.
It's 100% change already. So it is also a problem for investors to even want to try to even invest here. So the country is bad. There is no skill involved. And then developers just are not ready to do the right thing. They just want to make profit. And I don't... Honestly, I've said all of this. I don't see a solution or a way out of it. It's just this. We are there.
I don't think.
However we see it, we take it.
Like we don't even see it. It just comes to our front. We don't even wait to see it, because I don't think like all these issues you stated now, I don't think there is actual plan to even resolve them. I don't think anybody has said, okay, let me get to the bottom of this, because the truth is that in Nigeria, we Nigerians, we like cutting corners. We don't like doing the due procedures. people like literally said, like when you said about this building, about when someone asked if the building is going to be what he sees at the end. I'm sure it's because maybe he has gotten a contractor that gave him a plan, and at the end of the day, they were saying they're going to build skyscraper and they did low scraper or
And
whatever.
there's this
bungalow.
typical look that government project used to have. They'll paint it half and half.
Yeah.
In the lower part, they'll do brown, they'll do cream, or they'll do that kind of thing. And then they have this regular roof that they use.
Yeah.
In other developed countries, you need to see the government buildings. And when you hear what they used to construct these things, I heard one, I think a toilet or something, they said like something million naira.
Yeah, they spend a lot of money in all these things.
And you obviously realize that when they are approving the money, the person that is getting the money is getting his own. I have a colleague that is working on the project. I'm not going to mention names. I'm not going to mention the company. He charged 100 million naira. And the person that was going to give it himself should add 20 million naira to it. And indeed, it was approved.
That's 120 million naira.
Yeah, it did.
So
was
20
approved.
million naira is never in the project at all.
It's not in the project at all.
It's just like
It's going to
I
the
don't
person that
mention names
gave him the
too.
project.
There's this place that they are doing right now in Lagos here, and I went for the inauguration and all of that. The budget for that is over 200 million, and I promise you, half of that money will not go into that project.
Definitely.
Because as at now, they're still on the ground level.
Definitely.
So in my head, okay, the whole money that was approved, sorry.
Why are we still on ground?
Why are we still on the ground? Like, what's happening? When I got there that day, I was expecting to see already erected stuff and all of that, but I'm like, nothing is happening. And
It's wild. Like, it's really, really wild how it's going now. Because you see that thing of where you say, yes, they approved 300 million naira for a project. Everybody in Nigeria, they know how the system works. Like, they know very well that if the government approves 300 million naira, it's 100 million naira. Even less than 100 million naira.
It is scary that
It's so scary
to accept that.
yes,
Like, if you
As
check
a
out
way
new
of
buildings, it's so bad that you can't check out new buildings these days and you would not find up to at least 10 faults in it. I mean,
I swear, brand new
I've stayed
houses.
Where I stay,
I've stayed in an estate where, as we were there, they were still building other parts of this estate. So whenever the owners of those properties comes, the first thing they're complaining about is, why are there broken pipes? Why is the soccerway open? Why is the window like this? Why is there a crack in the... And I'm like, these are supposed to be newly constructed houses and there are already cracks in the walls. How? Like, where did the money that was pumped into this thing, where did it go to?
Like,
so where I stay currently, we've been there for like maybe 3-4 years or something. We're like the first initial users of the house. We stay in here. After like a couple of months, I was already seeing major cracks. And with my background, I knew that, okay, this is not surface crack. This is not just on plaster. This is a structural crack.
yeah.
And it just dawned on me. I went downstairs. So there is, when you're constructing, I don't know if you guys know about it. So as a structural engineer, there is, except you want to use like a thick beam, but usually it's best to just work with 6 meter by 6 meter and then place column here, place column there. That's the arrangement. That's the way it is. Except you are maybe using metal and you can span longer, you can have a cantilever. But our house is having 8 meter in front of it. 8 meter depth. And then it is interlocked. There are blocks on the side. You see some parts is already depressing. So you realize that there's even uneven, along with the bad structural thing they've done, there's even uneven settlements going on there.
On the ground.
Yeah, there are people
Uneven settlement because so when you want to build, when they come to do a soil test, there's test like 3-4 different parts of the land, and then the weakest part is what is used to calculate the type of foundation that will go on the site.
Okay.
Right? So for example, for that kind of my house, I'm guessing it's a raft foundation, not strip. Strip is what they use mostly for bungalows and the rest. So raft, and because it's island, right? But I feel like the integrity of that raft, maybe the thickness or maybe the mixed ratio, whatever it is, they use maybe the weakest, the strongest part, and they use to calculate it rather than using the weakest part, so they can have more depth to it and all of that. So obviously you have uneven settlement because the part of the building that is strong enough is holding the raft, all good, but the part that is weak, that you feel to that you neglected is
Going down.
depressing. So you're having uneven, building is showing you that is, and I wonder how people make money in real estate. I wonder how someone said it's just to keep money, just loan that money, just keep your money there. People don't really make money there because if
Not
you-
exactly per se.
Sorry,
Yeah, okay.
sorry. So if you look at it, sorry, our unit, they said it's sold for like 50 million naira or 40 million naira.
Mm.
And then if house rent is, let's say, 4 million naira, you'd need to pay that for 10
10
years
years.
before you get your profit back. But I say to you right now that our building will not last 10 years.
It's going to collapse.
Okay, if it doesn't collapse, they'll need
Require
to make
renovation.
they need to make a major renovation that
Yeah.
will even eat into like probably shoot out your expense to almost 20-30 million naira. So you're looking at in the next 15 years, you're still facing the never ending. Why don't you just do the right thing from the onset? Spend the money. I know that after 10 years, I'm seeing this thing back. Like we keep thinking like, okay, we are trying to, and the truth is, to be fair, developers, they've built, they've sold, they've moved on.
They've
They've
gone.
On to the next one.
They've forgotten about
It is
appreciation.
unfortunate that the homeowners, the buyers, and people that will probably lease or rent it out are the ones that are now facing these issues. People like us. And I mean, it's not like we can afford to now go and build our own estate. And well, yeah, it's something I'm working on actually. You hear from
Man.
us very soon.
I can get a free unit now. I can get a free unit.
Bring your money now.
Free unit.
Eh?
Free unit.
Bring your money still. There's no free in my dictionary. I don't get.
No, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, no.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. So, Jay, I was going to ask this question here. I know there's this saying that it's just the millennials that invest in this real estate thing. I know he mentioned that people don't make money from real estate. I think you have a different idea about that, because I feel like it's just for, I would not say the advanced, but I don't know. So what's your take on that? Is real estate strictly for just millennials?
No, so not like real estate. Hi, I'm Jay Daniels, full-time content creator and everything around the entertainment industry. But thankful to God, I have a lot of friends that do this whole real estate and everything. And then from one or two things that I've been able to get from them is it's not just tied to millennials. It's something that is advised of Gen Zs, because in one way or the other, the Gen Zs have a quicker way of making a level of money or an amount of money. And that's most likely the best kind of savings you can do, aside saying you want to just keep money in your bank or something. So the thing about real estate is, for some people, they would rather do it into buildings, like leasing out to build. I remember there was this time, a person I used to work for wanted to get a space for a gym. And then I remember they told him, oh, the only way you can get that place is if you are paying for 3 years upfront. And now how much was payment for this place? 18 million naira per year. So if you're calculating it for 3 years, that's almost about roughly 50 to 60, roughly. So they knew what they were doing, because they possibly cannot tell me that space is going to worth that amount. I mean, it's just an empty warehouse. If that place is too big, it's like combining two of this room together. If that space is too big. So they knew they just wanted to get their money out of it immediately and quickly know that, okay, yeah, we've made our profit from this. So most people do it on just buildings, while most people, they take the land route. They buy lands. Like you find out like about 10 to 20 lands are tied to one name. Now, why is it tied to one name? Because these people, they already know that, yes, give this particular place few years from now, it is going to grow. I hear a lot of people talk about the whole Ekpe scheme and everything. And I'm like, with the way Ekpe is growing, with the rate at which they are moving recreational facilities and everything towards Ekpe is going to most likely look like another kind of Lagos, where people just want to move to Ekpe. And thankful to God for the people that are already there. It might not really have a toll on them because they were already there. It's we that now want to move there that will face it, because whatever price they give you, have to take it. So most people would rather just do the whole buy the land, keep the land and forget about it. And I cannot promise you that you will come back and you will not make profit from it.
Oh no, definitely.
You will make massive profit from it, because that's one thing about land. Land will always go up. The only time land can probably say it would not appreciate is if that area is not having a development. And I mean, you don't need to be told not to buy land where you don't see a development coming. Except it's a company where you can say, okay, you're only coming to build a company there that just wants to work. That's all. Nothing like you're expecting a family or whatever. So if you check most of the places in Ikorodu, it's companies that dominate that area, because people hardly, how many people will say, oh, I'm going to Ikorodu, except you are a native or you live there normally. Maybe you grew up there. That's the only way you can say, okay, yeah. But I don't really think there's anybody that would say he lived in Bagada or he lived in Ikeja and say he wants to relocate to Ikorodu. People
buying
relocate
houses
out
is
of
cheap.
Ikorodu.
Houses are cheap there.
Now that's the thing. You can buy the house in Ikorodu and not live there.
Oh, okay.
Half
okay.
the houses in Ikorodu are dominated by students. Why? Laspotech. You have Laspotech there. You have, I think, okay, Caleb is a private university and stuff. So, but if you check most of the population there, they're mostly younger people and then very elderly people.
Okay.
So those ones, you can tell that those ones are natives. Those ones are people that they've been there like almost all their lives. Like if they ever came out, maybe it was work that took them out and then they came back there. So most people refer to Ikorodu as retirement plan.
Okay.
I know there was this one time my mommy said something about it. She was like, once she's done with the whole hustling and everything, she'll just go back to her house there. Because my mom has a property in Ikorodu, and she was like, she will go back there. And I'm like, I don't think I see myself coming there, but there's nothing I can do about it. So that's just how it is for millennials and Gen Zs. Millennials see it as, okay, if we buy this property, what can we make out of these properties? Most Gen Zs, somebody like myself, I'm more invested in cars. Me, I love cars. It takes serious convincing to say, oh, take out money to go and buy land. And you find out that you can even afford the land easier than, because I think there was this time there's something like you can buy a plot of, I think, about 1.2 to something. And I'm like, imagine buying like 3 plots with that money. Like, I buy it, forget about it. I know that yes, you don't have plans of building it, definitely. Me, I don't look to build a house. I look to buy an already built house. It's a normal Gen Z plot. Except you have some kind of strong family backing that, people are very influenced by their family. A lot of people are influenced by their family.
Sure.
It's whatever their family feels is right, most of them do. So most people, they'll be like, oh, if I say I want to buy this land now, my mom might be like, why not just build? It's all those ones I can say, okay. But millennials, they do more of buying the land. Buy the land, build on it, give it out to people to stay in it, rent it out, lease it out. If you check most properties that are owned, you check the age owners, 56, 60. I
think my landlord is
70. All those kind of aged people. You will barely see someone in his 30s. You barely see him own all those kind of things. He might probably have it, but he might not just be in like the direct contact for it. It might just be that type of, he bought the land, but he did not build on it. He had somebody else do the whole thing. So him is just probably taking a percentage from it. Because where I used to work now, it's a store. It's like a supermarket, a full supermarket. And then the owner of the place, it was her dad that owned the place.
Okay.
So she owns that building alongside 2 of her other siblings.
Oh,
so she just owns like joint. One part of it.
Yeah, it's
so
joint family business.
Exactly, that kind of thing. You can just tell that it was definitely not their thing. Maybe it's their dad that owned it. So when she said it just confirmed it for followers. Okay, yeah, it's definitely her dad that owns the place.
Like, okay, just like what you said about these millennials owning buildings. Like my landlord now, he has over 10 buildings. I'm not even capping. He has like 4 in the UK. He has in Lagos. On my street, he has 3 buildings on my street. He has in Ikorodu. He has on the island. He still has in Onitsha. He's an able man, but let me not say he's greedy. The man is
that one is just normal.
The man is greedy because now this thing you say about building structures and even leveling or measuring, I don't think he did any of that. Because where I'm staying, it's 3 buildings, 3. So he did a 3-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, and single, like just 1 bedroom. So I mean 2-bedroom. Now this man woke up overnight during Christmas. Maybe he spent too much money Christmas, and he was like, oh, okay, how do I get back my money? Maybe he went to throw party in the village or whatever. January, he's breaking the walls. He's building stores. Mind you, the compound is not massive. So I don't know if the man has plans that his tenants should not own a car. But even the small ones that they had in the compound, now he has taken away space to build stores. So if you're entering, you literally have to bang and bang. He now builds stores. He has built 3 stores in front of the house. And then he goes to increase the rent. Mind you, he does not provide light for us. He does not provide water. So when you move in, you fix your light, you buy your own pumping machine, and you literally dig the ground yourself. That's how all of us do. So everybody has their own personal pumping machine in our compound. So you do everything yourself. And then he wakes up and he's increasing the rent. And I'm like, okay, you're increasing the rent. That's what happened. Mind you do your renovations yourself. He does not do renovations. So all he does is sit down in his office and calculate, money don't finish. What should I do? And then he sends everybody message and he has increased the rent. And he doesn't increase it with just, let's say, okay, if you increase it with like small money, I'll like, okay, fine. But you just bring boom.
Put money on top.
It doesn't make any sense. You don't increase rent, like you don't wake up and increase it with more than 20%.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'd like to say even it is not all these so-called developed countries. It's not out of their benevolence, not because they are so righteous, not because they are the best Christians that they don't the homeowners don't choose to do this to their tenants.
The tenants.
But it's because there are policies.
Yes.
There are
There are
government
policies,
policies.
like-
It's so
They
bad.
can't.
You can't just wake up in the
can't-
morning and
can't
say,
for-
"Oh, I want to increase
But
my
here
rent."
now, for example, I mean, I heard when someone who said, or no, the then governor of Lagos, I think it was somebody or something,
Mhm.
he said landlord should not require tenants to pay more than a year.
That's a year. And
Yeah.
was it the previous? Yeah.
And then my uncle then, he was in Nigeria then, he was
Yeah.
like, he told this to his landlord because then he was looking for a home. I was like, shall you go and meet Kini to give you house? This is what I'm selling. You go and meet the governor. And, he said, yeah, sir, sorry, we'll pay your 2 years. And that's it. That's the way it is. The government says something and then people just, are you kidding? Is it your house? It's my house now.
Yeah,
You tell me how
exactly.
to. But I feel like these things, they are in place and then they hold people accountable to it. Maybe you would see some of these things reduce a bit.
Yes.
Because it feels like it's a no man's world.
it
They can
is.
just decide
Exactly.
what they want to do. And
The annoying part
and-
is
okay.
the space in these houses kills me every time. Like
There are no space in Lagos houses.
when they tell you, oh, mini flats going for this in this place, they tell you mini flats going for 1.2 million, 1.5 million.
Mm.
In my head, I'm like, okay, let's even hope it's even a good space, like somewhere you can move around freely. Not until when you go and inspect this house.
Yeah.
You would wish you were in a prison.
Yeah, I agree.
The
And
ventilation,
There's
zero.
no ventilation. I don't think
it gets
Lagosians are
gets
about-
smaller.
they're not
No,
about
when we're
ventilation.
looking for an apartment from the mainland, we're looking, we're like, so it has to be island because we wanted servicing, wanted
Yeah,
lights,
all
wanted
of
all
that.
those things. And then I won't even lie, I checked like 20 buildings or 20 homes, different agents, there's this agent I met, I should probably mention Dan Lamy. Yeah, it was still, but now it's a big deal now and so. But I was inside everywhere in Ireland. Lekki phase 1, check this one, check that one. And there's this feeling of depression when you just enter.
Jesus, I thought I was the only one.
It
That's
is
sad.
deep-
They'll do the
And
pre-recording video with
they don't know how important
0.5 lens. on
Yeah.
the
They don't know how
iPhone. It will look so
important
big.
Lighting is in a space. That is, when I say lighting, I'm not saying this.
Yes,
Natural lighting.
light,
Yeah.
yes. Dark houses.
Yeah, because you have your, I mean, some people want the dark themes and
I
everything,
don't
but
want
I
it.
would like
Let
to
it
have
be
the
that I'm the
option.
one that set up
I
the
would like
dark
to have
thing
the option.
myself.
Like, I would like the building designed in such a way that, okay, so there's a window. If you want a natural light, take this. And if you want your dark lights,
Close it.
but there's
Like-
this, and from the way it's planned, there's even one that I went to. Our guest toilet. The guest toilet didn't have a window.
So how
They just had this opening up there and it was to the lobby
Oh,
in the space.
welcome
So
to
when
Lagos.
a guest is, using the toilet and the smell, everything is
You want to
just,
kill the person.
and nobody is holding this thing. I mean, this
Nobody.
building got approval.
Yes.
My toilet, I promise you, my toilet was my house has 2 toilets, guest toilet and masters. And I promise you that the toilet is just one. I'm the one that pitied my guests. Because if not, I had to break the up for air because the only window is in my toilet. So I had to break the up so the guests can even breathe. Because there's no window
No.
there.
Oh.
So now the guest toilet has to pass through my toilet
Before
to
it
go
gets
through
out.
the other toilet.
It's rather
it's
unfortunate.
crazy.
Well, like I said, I wish we had a solution to this, but I feel like
The country never has a solution.
the fact that the country is so deep in corruption that it's become a normal
It's
way
just
of
so
you know.
normal,
Okay, so you
right?
get a project, obviously
Yeah.
20 million out, so you bribe someone, pay this one. Okay, obviously the cost of project, everybody collect their money, this one pay this one, settle down. Then the actual people that are meant to do the work, then you now frustrate the whole process out of them because
Like,
these are the people that are actually meant to build. How do you want us to, and we don't even have the skill to even start with. We don't even have the.
no, we don't have that.
If I would suggest anything, because I feel like there's still an untapped market
Yeah.
in Lagos. Maybe even Nigeria, but I'll just talk about Lagos.
what's it?
So the type of homes we build,
Yeah.
the detached, the duplexes, I don't think it is unnecessary. Or okay, it works for a family, it works for families, but
Mhm.
for younger generations, that's maybe bachelors and all that, we don't have something readily available for us. Like
We
a
don't.
colleague of mine was looking to get a space, and in mind I was telling him that see, all the space you are budgeting 3 million for 3.5. If you get it, fine, 3.5 per year. But think about the furnishing.
Mhm.
think about
because
the furniture.
when you want to rent an apartment, all you think about is not even the cost of it, because most of the time you can probably afford it conveniently. It is the furnishing. It is the things you need to buy inside. This one, buy down, buy. You see that you're spending 5-6 million or 7 million on top of it. That's why I'm probably reluctant to do that. I'll just stay with my team and then everybody would rough it together.
Abi?
I saw a meme that it's only in Lagos you rent a house and you don't furnish it till your rent to expire.
Well, back to what I was going to suggest. I feel like, I mean, they do it in other developed countries. My brother in the UK, he pays rent per month. And the house is fully furnished. Obviously, it comes with everything, and they pay all the abuse and everything. But I know we are not in the economic state to do that yet. I mean, how many Nigerians can afford $1,000 or £1,000 per month on house rent? But if we could even bring it down a bit, maybe your salary is 500k, 600k. Most Nigerians, I might be wrong, I'm not an authority on this. Most Nigerians will probably be able to afford 200, 300 monthly. If the house comes with all the furnishing, provides internet and lights. You can't be negotiating lights 24/7.
There are places like that
Inverters.
on the island though. They are pay monthly. I know because I remember when I was looking
and
for
it's not an Airbnb.
No, it's not.
Because I feel like the Airbnb market is also
not an
saturated.
Airbnb, but I know places like that you have to pay monthly. It's like it's just you come and rent it and you pay monthly. But I know the only issue I've seen with that is I think you have to share with someone. You have to. It's not an Airbnb. It's a house.
Oh, I think probably what I'm talking about is some houses that they've probably converted.
No, that's what it's built for.
It's built for that.
For just
what I had in mind, just a double volume space, bedroom up top. You have the stairwell that comes down. You have the small living area. We have the kitchenette. We have the guest toilet. Just
something like a loft apartment.
Fantastic.
Like
loft apartment. Apartment.
I thought I was like the only one that even actually loved loft apartment.
That is actually very.
It's a normal thing for
it's very chill.
Anybody between their 25 to 30.
Yes, because
I don't need a family. I'm not in a family at that time.
Okay. Because I want to rent an apartment. I don't need to worry about buying chairs. I don't see. Just give me a space, and then if you check some like Bali. Indonesia, all these countries, they have similar condos, like similar buildings, like 20-something floors.
True.
And they have a study space, they have the gym, they have all those facilities and amenities. I feel like nobody's doing that.
Nope.
Nobody's doing
that. And then if we probably do that, propose that, I feel like there's going to be market for it. Because if we're able to take out all my major worry, light, this, I was even going to suggest as far as even food. Say in the building, you can order food if you want. Because honestly,
that food on is a mood.
Honestly, it's going to be a steal. Trust me.
Yeah.
I know how much I spend on food because I barely cook. I buy food, buy it. When I calculate it, God, it's actually very bad. There's a way it's even sometimes, because I have guests sometimes, and this one, my cousin is here, my colleague is here, everybody, let's buy food courts. This one, and food court is totally expensive, ridiculously expensive now.
Yeah.
Do food court 25k, do this one. In a day, I spend 70k on food. What's going on?
What are you eating?
Right?
That's what's going on.
I don't look at my body. What kind of food am I eating? But you have people around and all of those things. If the facility can, because I feel like there is something in economics of scale. If you're able to provide this in large quantity, you can probably afford to give it out and then you still be in profit. I think. Say if you have like an in-house restaurant for this particular facility, it attends to people outside, it also attends to people in the building. But then you're able to cut the payment in such a way that when you guys are paying, you are entitled to maybe 2 square meal or 2 meals per day. Say they'll give you breakfast, they'll give you this. You just need to enter the app, log in, do this, all of those things, and then they give you food. I don't worry about food. I'm not a foodie. If I want to do major food, it's probably friends. So let's go to restaurant, let's go to all this. But give me rice, give me stew, give me rice and stew. That's fine.
Maybe too much for plantain.
Yes. And sometimes I'm hungry at night and I'll go to food court and it's ridiculous. Spend 6-8 on fried rice and
we're never talking about the delivery fee now.
Hey.
So personally, I feel if Nigeria, let's never go to Nigeria. If Lagos could actually put a lot of things into perspective and actually think of we, the tenants and the citizens of this lovely country, and give us a loft, or even young people, like they said, truly, there's no housing for young people in Nigeria. It's just housing for families, and it's so bad that some landlords will tell you, "Are you married? Are you married? Do you have a husband? Do you have a wife?" So if I don't have a husband and a wife and I want to stay alone, what happened? Please,
there's even this thing they do, Seth, where they do this. If you're not Yoruba, please don't apply.
Jeez, yes, it's so bad. Housing, like it's so bad that housing, tribe has entered housing. Like,
They'll tell you
Why?
if you're not Igbo, please.
Please, they'll
I
tell
don't
you,
I don't
"Hey,
want I don't want a young person. I want
yes,
only
I
a
don't want a
family
young
person.
exactly, and it's very bad.
Like it's just
Please, I'm pleading to all landlords out there.
please give me a
Enyo,
house.
give us house. We the young people,
And
we need house.
I would say it. I mean, I understand that it is probably very expensive
Yeah,
to do the right thing. Quick reference: one New York apartment loft to be just the kitchen.
yeah.
The company that signed to do it spent $250,000 just for that kitchen alone. And of course, when you see it, you know that money went into this thing. I'm not saying you guys should spend $250,000 on the kitchen, right? Just do the right thing and take a risk with us. We will pay your money.
Yeah.
Don't think it's because Nigerians will not pay this one.
Please.
Do the right thing, and then when we see it, we'll pay for what we're getting.
Pay for it. Treat us well. We're trying. I'm not trying.
We are your children.
We are your children.
If
Yeah,
not,
your
I will
children.
come for their seats. Tell them.
He's coming for your seat, so be careful. Okay, so thank you guys for today. I really enjoyed today's section. I'm not even going to lie. I learned a lot of things, and I'm sure we've told you, you've seen solutions. You understand this problem. It's not personal problem. It's problems that all of us are facing here. These are challenges that we all face day in, day out with real estate in Nigeria. So please, let's come together and help each other to make our place a better place to be in great Nigeria.
Great.
Okay, now time for the best part of this podcast: fact and fallacies of real estate. Boom. Let's go. And you know how it goes. So when you fail, you go real slopey, real quick. Are we ready?
How many times?
You say it 6 times very fast.
What come again? Real what?
Real slopey.
And if you don't get it, what happens?
No, that's so. If you don't get the fact and fallacy, that's when
I
you
mean,
get
if you don't get the tongue twister too.
you have to get the tongue twister.
Real sloppy.
You have to get the tongue twister.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. All right. So, real estate always outperforms other investment options like stock, bonds, and mutual
Doesn't.
funds. Fact or fallacy?
That's a fallacy, no? Always.
It's a proper fallacy.
although I'll say
You would never wait for
real
me.
estate has less risk involved. And
Okay.
ultimately, less risk, less profit. That's the way it works.
Correct.
Generally, do you know what stock is? Real estate is learning.
Yeah, stocks are more volatile. And
Like properly.
you make it big
Eh,
there.
You make
can
it
put
big.
them? Okay. You win.
No, give us something.
You
Come on.
You but not seriously, so leave me alone. You win. Next one. Property in trendy neighborhoods will always appreciate in value, regardless of market conditions. Fact or fallacy?
That's still a fallacy, regardless of market condition.
Yeah.
It's a fallacy.
I think it's a fact. In trending neighborhoods, let's not forget half the prices of why Lekki houses are expensive is peer pressure. I mean, you see some kind of structures, they don't worth the price.
True, I think I agree with him.
So what are you going with?
I think it's a fact.
Yeah, because for example, I mean, New York is a problem currently. Things are not going well, but cost of homes and rent and is always going up.
Final answer.
Yeah, so I think it's a fact.
I think it's a fact.
Or we should just start.
Just start
arranging our-
it. Just start it because it's a fallacy.
It's a fallacy. I think I say fallacy.
You said that.
Okay, over to you, my man.
How is it a
It's a
fallacy?
fallacy. I'm not.
But I
the
wish
one
you had
you're
an
gonna
explanation.
ask.
I mean, there should be an
I'm
explanation.
not the one you're gonna ask that.
Do we have like
Question.
5 more hours so we can
No,
talk?
we don't. That's the end of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed every bit of it, and I hope you learned most of all and took a lot of things home with you. And please don't forget to drop your questions, drop your suggestions. If you have more things to say, come to our Instagram or drop it in the comment section, and we are here to answer you. And I'm still your host, Shalom Mark, with Real Estate Realities in Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you.